Hello, welcome to the Self Learning Podcast by Dr. Sushma Singh. Let us start Unit 3 City and Metropolis. And our topic is Basis of Market. In some parts of the world, we still find an unusual form of human settlement. Artisan villages where all residents are engaged in the same craft. Another case, fishing villages are neither rural nor entirely urban in character, but represent a special category. Fishing as a specialized kind of food gathering is much older than the domestication of plants and animals, and is thus pre-rural in character. Fishing villages existed in Europe before the advent of Neolithic time. For instance, near Muge, Portugal, some of our primitive contemporaries still live mostly on the sea yields. But their settlements cannot be placed in the same category as, for instance, Salem, Massachusetts, whose residents became millionaires by fishing. The difference is clear. One group literally lives on fish. For the other groups, fishing a commercial enterprise. Therefore, we shall consider all communities non-urban if their activities are mainly consumption-centered. On the other hand, if these activities are oriented towards a market, the settlement is urban in nature. For a market is one of the basis features of non-agricultural activities. Without organized exchange of goods and services, the urban dweller would have nothing to eat. In fact, Marx specified a different relation of city to the society in each mode of production. It is this changing relationship of city and society that Southall takes as justification for the study of the city and of urban anthropology. The attempt to define the urban leads to contorted totalists. The unity lies in the wholeness of the total human experience of it, bounded at the beginning by the temporal immensities of the pre-urban era, and at the end by the still impenetrable mysteries of the post-urban age. Cities have never been seriously and comprehensively looked at as a whole, so the nature of their unity has never been fully explored or perceived. Southall's approach to the city is on the idea of concentration, but it extends beyond mere population to include its more profound social, cultural, and political economic implications, since these are even more highly concentrated. He previously defined these on the basis of the role relationships, which are far more highly concentrated in cities than the population as such. But the notion applies differently to different general domains of role relationship, such as kinship, religious, political, economic, and recreation, consumption, concentration applying to its most extreme form to the latter two. Concentration of social relationships in general defines the most fundamental characteristics common to cities in all time and space. The purpose of studying city in this sense is to understand how the relationship of those concentrations to the rest of the society has varied over time and space, and how these variations reflect the changing organization of urban concentrations and the organization of production and society as a whole. At the end, I would like to quote R.E. Dixon. He has been able to combine most of the characteristics of city. He writes, firstly, the city is an institutional center, the seat of institution of society, which it represents. It is a seat of religion, of culture and social contact, and of political and administrative organization. Secondly, it is a seat of production, agricultural and industrial, the latter being normally the more important. Thirdly, it is a seat of commerce and transport. Fourthly, the city is a pleasurable seat of residence for the rulers, the wealthy, and the retired, where they can enjoy all the amenities of civilized life that the institutions of their society have to offer. Fifthly, it is the living place of the people who work in it. Now let us move to the next point, concept of metropolis. Metropolis, a Greek word, actually consists of two words, meter mean mother and polis mean city. Hence the metropolis can be translated into English as mother city. Lewis Mumford classified cities on the basis of levels of technological development in Europe, such as Eopolis, Polis, Metropolis, Megalopolis, Tyrannopolis, and Necropolis. In ancient times, the term metropolis was reserved for a specific type of a city, the capital of an empire, state, kingdom, and places from which the rest of the world, or at least some major territory, was ruled. Thus, a metropolis would rank considerably higher than a provincial city. In modern days, any major city likes to be thought of as metropolis, even if it is not the seat of government. This is true particularly of the cities in the United States because a typical US state capital is not a big city. By the same token, most US states have at least one big city, which is not the capital of the state. Furthermore, at least in the US, the population in the area surrounding a major city is typically much larger than the population of the city itself. The two populations are typically added up and published as a population of the greater metropolitan area. Naturally, if we follow the ancient tradition, any state capital still deserves the title of the metropolis, even if it is not the cultural and business center of that state. So, a modern meaning of word metropolis often is any place which is a political, cultural, or economic center, though not necessarily all of the above. According to Indian census, a city having more than 10 lakh persons or a million plus city is known as metropolis. According to the 2001 census, there are 35 million plus cities having total population of 107.88 million, which constitutes 37.8% of the total urban population of the country. In identifying metropolitan cities, census uses the population of the entire urban agglomeration rather than population of the central municipal corporation. Consequently, most of the million plus metropolis are multi-municipal agglomerations. Such agglomerations comprise a large city in the core with smaller urban areas on the periphery. In India, the smallest metropolis is Rajkot in India and the largest one, Greater Mumbai, with the population of 1,63,68,084 persons. It is 16 times bigger than Rajkot. Indian census has further divided these metropolis into 4 categories given below: 1 lakh to 1,99,000. We may mention that this is a central government program, JNNURM, Jawaharlal Nehru National Urban Renewal Mission, that covers all metro cities, and megacity programs covered all megacities noted below. There are 6 megacities in India with a population of more than 5 million in each in 2001. These are Greater Mumbai, Kolkata, Delhi, Chennai, Bangalore, and Hyderabad. Now let us conclude the unit. Like all sociological terms, the concept of city too has its own problems. It has been defined by various sociologists and other social scientists in many different ways, based on the criteria which they find significant. City is an abstraction like any other sociological category, but it is based on concrete elements like residents, means of transport, etc. In this unit, we have learned about the city and the different ways it has been understood, such as legal basis, statistical basis, basis of density of population, and so on. We also learned about the metropolis. The very term means mother city. It has the distinct criteria of population, and also it is a city where the political, cultural, and economic center is present. In India, a city with a population exceeding a million is considered to be a metropolis. According to the census, Rajkot is the smallest metropolis and the Greater Mumbai is the largest in India. Now let us wind up the session, and we have come to the end of the unit. Thank you very much for engaging yourself with the self-learning podcast.